Okay, cool. So this is one quick what a practice game we did that showcases a little bit of a different dynamic, so it's worth at least. I would just have the like the link in the video description so you could just like click through it if you wanted to, but every update all the links break or like or just eventually there's going to be an update where this link is going to break in the app. So I want to have a video just documenting it. So yeah, this is, I mean, I'll spoil it a little bit. Vexer plays a bit more aggressively than in the first. He's still like not as like stupidly suicidal as I was. Like it's not really aggressive, and I'm not sure what he would say if he was still here. But so we compared this to the game where I just went very far in with Ava and then got mind controlled, hypnotic called everything to death. Um, so okay, let's see if our memory of this is accurate here. That's all the melee units. Holy crap! Both divers for the kill. Ava is getting in there, dropping forward gates. Yeah, so this is just much more aggressive. Like you saw in that last game, like Vexer was more staying to like back rows, like 3 and 4, building gates over here, like just shooting down from here. And nope. No longer. Now we have gates on the enemy side. And you immediately see the downside here of deceivers. Deceivers do really good when the enemy gets over here. I don't know. There's some factions where it still feels like really bad, like factions that are like just good at hitting hard with deceivers, and it feels like a tough game to play with Cthulhu because like as soon as any units get on your side of the battlefield, I'm just playing a dangerous game with these mind witches because as soon as you start like losing melee trades with your range units, with your mind witches and wind mages, that's when you start losing. Like I'm thinking about like the Polar Dwarves Breakers matchup feels really bad for that reason. But we have the deceivers to try to stop things like that from happening. We didn't do it. Unsuccessful. I mean, deceiver has a decent chance of turning that to 1 damage so it doesn't kill it, but yeah, I mean that's just so just deceivers stop the pressure and I think ultimately make this approach less viable for Ava, but I mean rushing the breakers works well for most factions. I mean it's interesting if I'm really saying that it just doesn't work as well for the avians as other factions. I mean it's Ava to rush, it's really expensive. You're paying a lot of you're paying a lot of magic to like just keep the units up. I mean like Ava would rather just like get some good shots with stewards that you can't really respond and kill that steward that turn. Just like getting in there and having all the gates clogged with deceivers. I don't know. Well, let's see how it plays out. Let's see how things develop. Yeah, so I'm really just like, okay, let's just clog it. I mean, I'm not I remember like not loving this position. Like just not love it. Like as breakers, you never want them to be on your side of the battlefield. It never feels good. But whatever. It's debatable whether I wanted to attack that gate or not. IDK. We're pulling back. um yeah, and avians don't have a great response. So yep, we just got a nice stack, and then hopefully after this we can stack things up again. And what's that? I'm at 7 magic. So once again, even with avians going aggressive, and maybe even especially so, Kalal seems to shine. I mean, I think even like Avians, yeah, just whatever the Avians do, Kalal is great because like Vector said, Kalal means you can start one-shotting stewards in a turn. Like, no combination of mind witches and wind mages is really like consistently gonna one-shot a steward with the stack that the breakers do. But Kalal changes those odds, being able to do the push stack with 4 range dice as the root of it is massive. Yeah, which really makes you be like, damn, it's just like really that one game I played Gwalark and it sucked. And like that's why it felt so bad. I was just like, I just wish I could play Kalal instead. I don't know, like more. I mean, I'm just going on a rant here, but like the more and more I play, and I still, and honestly, like this matchup like convinces me like breakers I think are the hardest faction to play in the master set, and the games that Vector and I showed, I think we're doing pretty well. Yeah, hee hee ha ha hoo hoo, as they say. um but break even the games we showed here, I mean, I think we got like pretty decent like handle of this matchup, but like far from mastered it feels like. I feel like, I don't know, I just yeah, I feel like it's playing a lot of things by ear, both of us. Like if we played this matchup another 20 times would be like, yeah, okay, that's these first few games weren't so hot. It's really interesting just how long it can take you to figure out a matchup. This really sucked for them. So yeah, I mean, Cyruk, good answer. Cyruk's what you want to play with Ava. The rant that I was about to go on is the more I play this game, the more it feels like champs are necessary. I don't really know. I mean, it almost like reminds me of like Kowloon's like analyses. Like Kowloon had an analysis recently that like the more he's been playing, the more he's been finding that you really need to finish off targets. It feels like whiffs are being punished more and more. And then it's only later that he was then like looking at things and he was like, oh, interesting. There have been more and more two cost 2/5s like ever since what? Sand Goblins? Since was Ava before or after Cloaks? Like Sand Goblins onward, like almost every single deck has a 2 cost 2/5. Um, and he thinks that that's really kind of like shifted the meta into more what he calls mid-rangey whiff punishing. I don't know, that's like a very interesting sort of like meta discussion to have that I am like not prepared to at all. So I don't really know whether I have, so okay, so that's sort of just like the realm I'm thinking of. But then so yeah, so talking about champions, I don't know whether I have gotten better at Summoner Wars or whether the meta has shifted or something, but I much more feel like I am playing champions these days. I mean, in general, champions are more playable with newer decks and no more 2/5s. Got it. I mean, not necessarily. I mean, I think it's probably good for not to have every single deck have a 2/5, but it's like not necessarily a bad thing. But I think that is sort of what Colleen said as well. That maybe to ease up on all the 2/5s. What was I saying? Yeah, so I don't know if I've gotten better at the game or not, but even these I mean, so I know like new decks are really good. I'm just like talking over this game. I don't care. I let me just press pause. I know new decks like champions are better, obviously, but I even find the older decks that I'm playing champions more. And with breakers, it can make sense. It's a strategy thing. Like breakers, it really feel like I really just used to play them where I'm just like always playing all of my commons and kind of never playing a champ. And now I just like look at that and I'm like, what the hell? Like like that's just like so like how do you win econ games without playing a champ? Like you need to have at least the token champ to play at the end to like to just be the big magic sponge. Like and the other master set factions too, like the Fallen Kingdom. Like I also used to just like play all my commons, and now it's just like, no, you gotta play a champ. Like you gotta like, and I know Dragos is the only good one. like I even like do those tests that I did with like +2 health Gul'das make me wonder if like like playing Gul'das like in a world where for some reason you can't do get Dragos, playing Gul'das like might actually be like almost an option. Yeah, Fallen Kingdom, like just all the Master Set decks that I didn't used to feel like playing champs were necessary. I now feel like it is. Like feel like competitive play, like pretty much every deck is gonna want to summon a champ in most matchups. And Breakers is one that I'm feeling the most. Like I feel like Kalal just feels really good, and yeah. So either I've gotten way better at the game, and I'm now realizing how good Kalal is, um, or meta's shifting or something, but it really feels like you need to get a champ out as the breakers. You got two options, two champs. And it really does suck that Gwalark sucks because like it really limits, like you saw that game where I drew my champs early, like it really, like I know it's like, oh, a champ's a champ, like why does it matter if just one champ in a deck's then playable, but it really does limit that deck's options all of a sudden, because it's like, well, if you draw your other two champs early, you don't have a third option, so like you can't, you either need to hold that or just accept that your late game is worse, which is what I did. And like, so all three champs being playable actually does, like I'm realizing, just have pretty marked impact on the overall like balance and tuning of a deck. Like you really don't want to have a deck where just like I don't know, it just used to be, I just used to think like whatever, like one champ's bad, who cares? But it really can it can suck you. It leads to much less interesting gameplay. So I don't know. So this is basically just Ben's little monologue about like how he actually understands the game now or something. Anyway, I beat Vexer. That was the other reason I wanted to show this game. Look, Ma. Like I didn't lose all these games, I promise. Yeah, good one. I had mind control at the end. Things are going. Wow, it's like even like could have played two champs this game. Man, I'm so good at this game. Always discard comments for champs. Got it. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. I don't know. You guys have any thoughts about champs, commons, whatchama, like how things are shifting? I don't know. It's just the sort of I'm hoping to like I'm interested in more just like state of the like meta analysis, sort of along like Kowloon's lines of like Tufa, like huh. Looks like every deck we print these days has a 2/5 in it. That's had an effect on things. Like it's like suddenly, and Colin's been saying this too, but I've never really, like, he's been saying that he thinks Kalal is getting better and better. Like Kalal is getting better and better and is better against newer decks. I don't really know. Is there a reason Kalal will be better against newer decks than older? Like, are newer decks better at range than option? God, I hate that they're not sorted by wave anymore. Okay, what was the most recent wave? Grokes, Order. Yeah, I mean, all those, like, goodness. Okay, let me just pull up something that's sorted by wave because that is way better for me. Okay, most recent wave, or Fae and Storm Goblins. I don't know. I mean, against Storm Goblins, probably Storm Goblins, you want to play bigger units. Grokes, Kalal is obviously great. Like probably the only way to counter Seers. Against Forged, I don't know. I mean, it's probably hard to get her down. Against these two, is Kalal any decent? Yeah, if Daymar tries to play a long game, it can really win you the value. Always same thing with Mountain Vargath, but again, could just be really hard to get her down with all the pressure they put you on. So probably not. I have no idea how Swamp Orcs works. So screw that. Kalal is, yeah, probably like one of the few ways you could outrange the high elves, because the breakers, just any matchup that can outrange the breakers is just like awful, because the breakers, the fundamentally part of their design is that they have the advantage at the range. They do not have the tools to advance. So the fact that there are now like two factions that do just kind of objectively outrange them, high elves and Grokes, sucks. Sucks to be breakers. But Claw's good for those. Wayfarers against Shadow Elves, definitely good. Against Sand Goblins, definitely good if they try to keep away. Yeah, I don't know. Kalal seems good. Like, and like people like calling for like buffs on Kalal, like remove Steadfast. I don't know. Kalal seems. I mean, I know 7 magic is like absolutely unattainable, but Kalal breakers do one thing: range dice. Hell yeah. Yeah, Kalal is just like seems better and better. 'Cause I just remember like back in the day, like when I first joined the league, I saw like SIP post and be like, yeah, I rarely get out Kalal, but like when I do, she's great. Like she feels like everything breakers do. I love it, and it's just like ha ha ha. This one guy in the Discord server that plays Kalal, and now it's like she said, like Fuzzy Marmot said the other day, like only half jokingly, it feels like Kalal is becoming as like sort of like a must play champ in the breakers. Like you like like it feels like she has that status of like you really want to do what you can to get her out. And I think that's right. I don't know. It's just interesting to see like how metas evolve, or just like how the meta of becoming everyone collectively becoming better at the game uh, evolves. But anyway, okay. Well, so that's an extra game and an extra rant on top of it. I need to hit the hay. It's been a lot of fun. Is the game changing, or are folks comfortable enough to experiment more? I think both. Yeah, I think the new decks are changing the meta slightly in ways that I'm not quite smart enough to analyze. But go ask Kowloon or something. Like in ways that we'll only like still slowly realize of like oh yeah, like decks are more trending towards this sort of like mid-rangey thing or towards this thing and blah blah blah. Like, and that's or folks getting comfortable to experiment more. Yeah, I mean people are just getting better at Summoner Wars always. Um, changing shit around. All right.